Christmas and chaos in Romania. Deposed leader Ceausescu and his wife are reported executed.
Ceausescu au fost condamnați la moarte.
The civil war rages on. Tens of thousands may be dead. Christmas for U.S. troops in Panama, with Manuel Noriega still in the Vatican embassy, trying to negotiate his way out of the country. This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. Good evening. A possible deal is reported in the making on the Noriega case, one involving the Pope and President Bush. Some details are coming in. We'll have them for you in a moment. First, about the reported execution of Romania's communist dictator. Romanian radio and television said tonight deposed communist leader Nicolae Ceausescu and his wife have been executed. The sudden announcement said that they had been convicted at a secret trial. There were few details and no independent confirmation. President Bush gave U.S. recognition late today to the anti-Ceausescu coalition now claiming power. By most accounts, the civil war isn't over. CBS News correspondent Richard Roth in New York begins our coverage.
The charges were genocide and what were called grave crimes against Romania, and the startling announcement by Romanian television was that Ceausescu and his wife had been tried, convicted, and executed. Only Thursday, the 71-year-old Ceausescu and his wife Elena, virtually his second in command, were still clinging to power in the face of opposition that for the first time had become angry, public, and widespread. The announcement of the verdict by a secret military tribunal came as a stunning accompaniment to the first Christmas Romanians have been able to celebrate openly in a generation. An announcer on official radio, now controlled by the provisional government that swept the Ceausescus from power, called it wonderful news. A man on the street called it the best Christmas in 40 years. But it hasn't stopped all the violence. Troops supporting the provisional government were said to have gained the upper hand, but backers of the executed president have not all given up. The death toll since the start of the popular revolt, according to the government now in shaky control, has reached 60,000. In the city of Timișoara, where the bloodshed began 10 days ago, more members of Ceausescu's secret police were arrested today as others fought on. The battle there has eased but not ended. With reports from other cities describing clashes that amount to guerrilla warfare, the clearest sign of optimism among Romanians in Timișoara today was a simple one, a symbol just planted outside Town Hall representing hope. Richard Roth, CBS News, New York.
In Bucharest tonight, the latest killing and confusion came amid Christmas carols sung openly for the first time in decades. Bob Simon is on the scene.
Revolution has not come gently to Romania. Days after Ceausescu and his clan fled or tried to, the army is still blasting the buildings from which power has been exercised these last 40 years. The Communist Party Secretariat, Ceausescu's private office. Shell after shell, less a military tactic than a fit of rage. People taking a little Christmas stroll became terrified spectators, full of the thrill and fear of disbelief. The old order had ended. The harder they are, the bigger the fall. There's no question of talking to the erstwhile rulers of Romania. This is not Hungary or Czechoslovakia. Anyone loyal to Ceausescu is a wanted man. An armored regiment is engaged against a handful of snipers who refuse to die or surrender and who have nowhere to go. The Battle of Bucharest seems to be almost over, but it is ending not with a whimper, but with a bang. The battle for Romanian television ended last night. This morning, there were no windows or lights or certainty that it would not begin again. But the army moved in more tanks, soldiers dug fresh positions, and people came to work because it was worth it.
We hope to be free. After 40 years. You can't understand that.
TV Romania is the voice of the revolution and much more. It is the military command post and the seat of government because the generals and politicians who are running the country right now are here around the clock, broadcasting plans for the future, memories of the past. Today they were bringing in paintings and Persian carpets from what was the home of Nicolae Ceausescu, the man who starved his people as an economic policy. The house was guarded by soldiers instead of secret police today. The streets were as empty as they've always been. Under Ceausescu, the entire neighborhood was off limits to ordinary people, so many of whom hoped for the verdict which was delivered.
He and his family, I think that they will be shot in the head.
At the Basilica of St. Constantine and Elena, 3 wise men of the Romanian Orthodox Church officiated today at a Christmas Mass, while an entire nation, a largely Christian nation, was reliving some of the oldest themes of mankind: the death of tyrants, the birth of hope. Bob Simon, CBS News.